I help entrepreneurs show up big and connect with their people by making big business technology accessible and affordable for small business. Today is Tuesday. On Tuesday, we talk about the O in the BOSS acronym, which is for organized. And one of the areas that no one ever wants to talk about is the money. So let's talk about the money. So, one of the things as an entrepreneur, I don't know about you, and I actually have a financial background, right? And I don't like the whole bookkeeping, accounting thing. Like it's just not my jam, even though I spent a lot of years doing it. So, but in order to really be able to run your business and to be smart about your business, and quite honestly, to have a sense of peace about it, you have to understand the financial implications of what you're doing and how they relate so that you can have an awareness about how your business affects your environment. And so that sounds a little bit like, well, I just want to make the money. But what I found is before I organized my finances, I was always how should I say, just unaware, just unaware. You if you don't have like a budget, if you just like, hey, I got to cut, and you're just going, you don't take your business seriously. So I believe that every small business owner, no matter how small you are, you should have a set of financial statements. Honestly, even if it's like, 4 lines on the balance sheet and 2 lines on the income statement, revenue and expenses, you should have that so that you can understand the impact of what you're doing and how choices relate to each other. And when you, as you grow and you're ready for funding or you're ready for bigger things, you'll already have a history accumulated and you won't have to like scramble, go get a bookkeeper to help you to figure out what you really should look like on your balance sheet and income statement. Okay. So, and I've talked about this before, but today what we're talking about is just being organized. And so now I use an app. Of course I use an app, right? Do marketing automation. Everything needs to be automated. Not everything, actually. I don't actually believe that some things are good to be done manually. And I actually am a little bit of a paper and pencil person. But what I wanted to share with you is just how, if you are not doing anything right now, if you're not organized, if this is an area that sucks for you as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, and you're not quite sure what to do, then I want to just give you a little framework that you can use to organize yourself and be able to move forward and be a wiser business owner. Okay, so now I the way I have things organized is in I use Quicken actually. I don't use QuickBooks right now. I used to use QuickBooks, but I wanted to have everything financial in one place, so I use Quicken. But one of the things that I did, and a lot of times with any tool, it's more about the tool always supports a process. And the more that you can understand what you're doing and what information is relevant for you. And if you build that into your system, then now the system is going to give you the ability to manage and be aware, have an awareness about your business that you wouldn't normally have had you not set it up that way, which is a roundabout way to say, um, you can start manually with however you track. And that's what I'm going to recommend you do today, but do it in an organized fashion. So, what I mean by that is if you're tracking your expenses and your ultimate goal is to have an income statement, a profit and loss statement, then track things in the categories at the highest level that makes sense in the same categories as the P&L. So, for example, if you're selling a product or service and you're doing so you'd show income. So what I recommend is just get a spiral bound notebook, set like a 5 subject notebook. I don't have one here to show you, but just get a 5 subject notebook. And for each subject, it doesn't even need to be 5 subjects, but just to make it simple, for each subject, I would use it to be one area of your financial statement. Okay. So income. So in a regular financial statement, you have revenue and you have expenses. And under expenses, you have cost of goods sold, you have selling expenses, you have general and administrative expenses, and then other expenses. And when you take the expenses from the revenue, you get your net income or your profit and loss. Okay, in a very basic way, because I'm not a bookkeeper and accountant, so I don't profess to be. I'm just trying to help you get organized. Okay, so if you take one section and you call that revenue, every time you sell something, just write it down. Okay. Every time you sell something, just write it down, write it down, write it down, and keep a receipt, stick the receipt in a shoebox. Just stick it in a shoebox in order. If you just do this every single time you use it and you do it every single day, your by time tax time comes, your shoebox will be in date order. Okay. The key is consistency. So then the second section, you say it's cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is any money that you spend to produce the thing that you sell is cost of goods sold. So you have a section that is called cost of goods sold. Okay. And it's, any subscription that you use every single month when that subscription comes through, write it in. You go to Office Depot and you get something that you need to deliver, write it in your notebook. Take the receipt, put it in your shoebox in order because you're going to do this every day. Your selling expenses. Selling expenses are expenses that are not directly attributable to the product creation itself, but they're expenses that you have. Maybe it's a sales team, maybe it's a sales software, whatever it is. Take that in the selling section, write it down. And even when on the front page of your notebook, write down the definition of what selling expenses are and what types of things will be there, so that when you're in the heat of the moment and you're just like, oh, I got to do this financial stuff, you can just write it down there and you can read the definition and be like, oh, okay, that's what selling expenses are. Okay, I'm going to write it here. I'm going to take my receipt, put it in the shoebox. Okay. Same thing with general and administration. This is like your auto fees and training, those things that are just general things that you spend money on because you're in business but aren't directly attributable to the product. Okay. Section in your notebook, write down a description on that little divider page that divides your notebook. Write the little description down, take your receipt, stick it in the shoebox. Okay. I mean, just really basic to keep yourself organized. And then at the end of the year, now that's for the paper person, right? And really, to be quite honest, even if you are a techie person, so to speak, but you're not very organized, I would recommend you always follow the paper process anyway until you get yourself really with a routine, because at least then you have an existing process that you can fall back on when it's tax time, that you can go to, right? Because if you're a tech person and you don't have a backup, then if you get busy and you just throw it all up, then guess what? You just lost all that history, and it's going to be a real pain to organize yourself later. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you today. Just a simple approach that you can use as an entrepreneur who maybe is not the best at bookkeeping, to help you to get organize yourself so that you can begin to understand the financial implications of your business. Now, let me tell you what's going to happen when you do this. When you do this, you're going to have an increased awareness around what you're spending or investing, what you're investing. You're going to go, you're going to answer questions like, why am I paying for this? Well, you're going to start looking at your statements and you're going to go, well, what's this for? You'll have an awareness, and that awareness will make you a better business person by default. It's going to make you a better business person. Okay. So that's what I wanted to share today. I hope this has been helpful for you. So if you are a entrepreneur, small business person, haven't quite gotten it together yet in the area of your finances, and you want kind of that list of what I call, the chart of accounts is the accounting name for, how you kind of divide your expenses up to make sense for production of financial statements. Okay. If you want to get kind of that list of categories that you should use, or suggested list of categories for you to use to track your finances, then go ahead and message me, and I'm happy to provide that to you for your use. So again, hopefully that was helpful for you. If it was helpful, then comment below. Let me know what you thought, if this was helpful for you or not. Any additional questions? If you have a great bookkeeper, and or someone who you're really excited about, and they're open to doing a live video, a live interview, I'm happy to host them and have them come on board and just share what they do, how they help businesses with their accounting and bookkeeping, because in that way we can educate and lift everybody up at the same time. So again, I hope this is helpful for you. If it's helpful, then definitely share the video. I love when people share my videos, and I'll see you next time on Lunch with Jewel. Bye for now.